Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today is going to be my update for my palette rotation project, and I am super excited about it. So these are the 5 palettes that I had in for October, but like always, I'm first going to talk about just some general palette usage for the month, and then we will get into my project update. So for the month of October, I used a total of 28 palettes out of my 71 that are in my collection, which is definitely not the best that I have done, but I'm still happy with the amount of palettes that I used and the ones that I was able to reach for this month. And out of those 28, the one that I reached for the most was my ABH Soft Glam palette. So I will open this up in a minute because I want to talk about it for another reason as well, but I used this palette a total of 4 times this month, which was the most that I used a palette. Honestly, I don't remember actually using it that much, but I record my makeup every single day, and this one apparently had 4 uses. So that is really exciting. I really do love this palette, so I'm happy I got some good use out of it this month. So also this month, I did hit 2 pans in my collection, which one of them does come from this palette, so I will quickly talk about that one. So I hit pan in the shade Tempera right here. So there is just a little baby pan in this palette. Nothing too big or special. This is just a super easy shade to use. But I am happy to have another pan in this palette, another pan in my collection. I feel like I'm getting close to a couple other shades in this palette as well, which is super exciting. So yeah, that is my first pan. Then the other shade that I hit pan on this month comes from my Tartelette Toasted palette. Let me open it up here. So I hit pan in the shade Cashmere. So here is this little pan right here. Once again, just a small little pan. But I am so proud of this one. This is one of the older palettes in my collection. It's my first ever high-end palette, and it is my first pan in this palette, so I am super excited that it is showing some love, showing some use, and this is one of my favorite shades in this palette, so I was super excited to finally have pan in this shade. So that brings us to a total of 50 pans out of the 975 shades in my collection, and I'm so excited that I got back up to 50 pans, and I am also back over 5%. This is a total of 5.13%, which is super exciting, and I really do love to see this number grow, and I think I can definitely stick above the 50 and above the 5% as we get to the end of the year. So that concludes the palette usage I want to talk about. So now we will go through the 5 shades that I had in for my project right here, or the 5 palettes. So just my general rules for this project, I randomly select 5 palettes from my collection each month, and my goal is just to use them once for an everyday look by themselves and to just get at least one good use out of the palettes during the month. Since I do have a somewhat larger collection, this just helps me rotate through some palettes that I might not have reached for, and just helps me get to know my palettes better, even if it is only one use. So the first palette I want to talk about is my ABH Subculture palette. This is the first one that I used this past month. So here is what this one looks like on the inside. So I will insert a picture of the look that I created. So for this look, I started with Dawn through the crease, and then I deepened that up a little bit with Destiny. I put the shade Untamed in the kind of outer corner, deepened up the crease area a little bit more, just wanted to bring in more of that green. And then I used the shade Rowdy a little bit to just deepen up that outer corner even more. And then I packed the shade Electric on the first kind of 2/3 of the lid. And this is a stunning shade. Then I just put Mercury tight to my lower lash line and put Cube in the inner corner. And I absolutely love how this look came out. I think this might be my favorite look that I have done with this palette so far. I just really liked the greens that I used, and like I said, this electric shade is just stunning. I really hadn't used it that much before this look, but it makes me really excited to reach into it in the future. So, like I said, this is a palette that I'm definitely excited to reach for and continue to use in the future. I think the quality of this is pretty good. There are a couple shades in here that aren't my favorite, just they're a little out of my comfort zone, or they don't perform exactly how I expect them to, but for the most part this palette is really nice and I'm super happy to have it in my collection. The next palette I used was my I Heart Revolution and Looney Tunes Tweety palette. So here is what this one looks like. So I will insert a picture of the look that I created with this palette. So for this look, I just went very yellow tone. So I used Bird through the crease and on the lower lash line. Then I just used a little bit of Escape to kind of blend that out. I packed Adventure all over the lid and then did Sing in the inner corner. This was just a very simple look, but I really do enjoy how it turned out. I love yellow eyeshadow, so this one was a lot of fun to create. And I just really like that even though this is a little bit more on the neutral side, there's doesn't really seem to be a whole lot of variety. I feel like there are quite a few looks that I can create with this palette, and I was really happy to use the yellow shades from this palette. So the quality of this palette I think is really good, especially for I Heart Revolution. I just really enjoyed the look that I created, and it makes me really excited to continue to play around with this palette. Okay, next I used this stunning palette from Kai Love Beauty. This is their Rococo palette. This packaging is just absolutely stunning. So here's what this one looks like on the inside. So this is a newer palette in my collection, so I was really happy to reach for it this past month. So I will insert a picture of the look that I created. Alright, for this look, I use the shade Courtship through the crease. Use Grass to kind of deepen up the crease. I just put it lower. And then I put Romance in the outer corner. And then I did Apotheosis on kind of the center of the lid, blended into Romance. And then I put Shepherdess in the inner corner and brought that on to kind of the first third of the lid. And then I used the shade Marquise on the lower lash line. And once again, I really loved how this look turned out. I think it was super pretty. I really like what yellow and purple eyeshadow look like together. They are complementary colors, and I do think they look really pretty together on the eyes, and I thought this was just a fun way to do it, and it was also a more wearable way for me to do it. So I just really enjoyed how this look came out. For the most part, I do enjoy the quality of this palette, and I am really happy to have gotten another good use out of it. So next we had my NYX Ultimate Utopia palette. So here is what this one looks like on the inside, and I will insert a picture of the look that I created. So this one was just super simple, neutral. I used this lighter brown matte shade through the crease, and then I used this slightly darker, warmer brown to deepen the crease, and then I used this first cream shade to blend that all out. I packed the shimmer all over the lid and then put this one in the inner corner, and it was just a super easy everyday look. As much as I love doing more colorful, fun makeup, I do enjoy a good neutral look, and this was just a day that I felt like doing just completely everyday neutral look, and I do really enjoy how it turned out. This shimmer right here is one of my favorites in this palette. Even though it looks a little bit more on the boring side, I do really enjoy how it turned out. And then last up we have my I Heart Revolution and Disney Moana palette. So here's what this one looks like, and I will insert a picture of the look that I created. So once again, a bit of a more neutral look. I used Sailing Spirit through the crease, and then Grandma Tala to deepen up the crease, and then I used Tapa to blend in the outer corner, deepen up the outer corner. I put, where is it? Shapeshifter all over the outer corner of the lid, and then did Magical Hook in the inner portion of my lid, and then did Island Lifter in the inner corner. And this was just a nice warmer toned neutral look. I really do enjoy how it turned out. I wanted to play with some of the more colorful shades in this palette as well, but I hadn't really reached for all of the warmer orangey browns that I used for this look, so I wanted to make sure I got a good use out of those shades, and I really do enjoy this palette, so I have no problem reaching for all the other shades in the future as well. So those are the 5 palettes I had in for the month of October. Let me know which of the looks I created was your favorite, and we can get into rolling in our new palettes for November. Okay, now it is time to roll in our new palettes for November. We are getting so close to the end of the year, but this is my favorite part of the video. I'm so excited about it, and I do always film this part of the video like ahead of everything else because I just get so excited after I use my palettes from the previous month to just get this out of the way and see what new palettes I can bring in for the next month. So we are going to be choosing 5 random palettes for November, and I have my Tiny Decisions app, so we will just spin the wheel 5 times. The first palette up is my Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette. That will be a nice one to pull in for this fall season. Next up, my Beautiful Shellz Iris Chameleon quad. That one's going to be fun. My Shared Planet Tiger palette. I love that palette. That is going to be so good. Another good fall palette. Milani Soft and Sultry, just a super easy neutral palette. And one more. My Wet n Wild Rose in the Air palette. So I'm going to go grab all 5 of those, and I will be right back to show them to you. Alright, so here are all 5 of the palettes, so I will run through them each quickly. So the first one up is my Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette. This packaging is stunning. So here is the inside of this palette. I really do love this palette, this color story, and I think it will be super easy to use for November. And yeah, definitely excited to get some more use out of this palette. It's a beautiful one. So next up is my Beautiful Shellz Iris Karma Chameleon quad. And here is what this one looks like on the inside. I have created quite a few looks with this palette for videos and such, so I will go ahead and link that. And I do also have an affiliate link with Beautiful Shellz. If you're interested, it's always linked in my description box. And I do earn a small commission if you do use it, but I do just want to put it out there just in case. So this one is super cute. I think this is just such a really nice color story, just in a 4-pan palette, so I'm definitely excited to see what kind of look I can create this next month. Alright, the palette I might be the most excited for this month is my Shared Planet Tiger palette. This one is just gorgeous, and it's just a beautiful fall toned color story, and I haven't heard much from this brand recently, but I hope they're still around and still planning on coming out with stuff, because I really, really love this eyeshadow palette, and the quality I think is really nice. So I'm very excited to get at least one more use out of it this next month. Alright, next we have my Milani Soft and Sultry. Lots of gold packaging this round. So here's what this one looks like. Like I said, just a nice neutral color story. This one should be pretty easy for me to reach for, just for an everyday look. I typically take this one traveling with me because it's just a nice hard protective case, and it just offers some really staple shades. So I do not see any problem getting use out of this next month. And lastly, probably my most used palette in my collection is my Wet n Wild Rose in the Air palette. So as you can see, I have quite a few pans in this palette. I only have 3 shades left to hit pan on, and I think I kind of want to set a goal for myself to hit another one this next month. We will see if I can do it, but I feel like I'm fairly close, especially in this shade up here. So that's kind of going to be a side goal other than using this just one time, but we will see what I can do with it. So those are my 5 palettes for November. I am super excited. I just absolutely love this project for getting use out of some palettes that I might not reach for. So just very excited, and I can't wait to see what looks that I come up with. So if you did enjoy this project, please do give it a thumbs up and let me know what you guys think, what else you would like to see from me. And also be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future uploads. I typically update this project on the first Tuesday of every month. So if you are interested, do subscribe. I also have a playlist that I can link down below if you would like to follow along that way. And with all of that said, I will see you in my next video. Bye!